Hi Belle! Lovely to see you, it's been a while, hasn't it?
It has, yes.
I can't think the last meeting we had together.
Probably Pride last time I saw
Oh, that's
you.
not actually that long ago, actually, is it?
Last September?
Yeah,
6
not that
months?
long ago, yeah. I brought my grandson to the first
did,
Pride
yeah.
on the stage,
Yes.
and the police nearly dropped him off on his tricycle, trying to carry him down. They were trying to be kind and lower him down, and the handle fell off. But it was wonderful Pride, wasn't it?
It was great,
Despite
yes.
us just coming out of kind of the lockdown and stuff.
Yeah.
It's really good.
And a short notice ahead.
And a short notice.
Yeah.
We got the next one coming up soon that we're already planning.
Oh.
So that's great.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah. So, your work here at the council, do you want to talk a bit about that? Because most people probably wouldn't automatically assume that you are a very, very important data protection officer.
I was working for the council as a records officer, and the Freedom of Information legislation had just come in, and I put all the policies and everything in. And then, if you remember back to those days, we were rated poor under the CPA assessments, etc. And we had a new chief exec come in, and she did a complete reorganisation, branch, I think she called it. One of the casualties was the current policy officer, Sean Silver, who also did data protection. So they decided that that was going to be part of my remit. So that's December 2005, and I've loved it ever since, really. And then West Northamptonshire came along, of course, and there were 3 or 4 data protection officers, so we all applied. Thankfully, I was the successful one, and now managing the information governance team for West Northamptonshire.
Brilliant, yeah. I mean, obviously I've had lots of interaction with you over the years from different courses and things that you've taught us. I think one of the things that's most inspired me is your interaction, the way you engage with people. Because data protection can be quite scary, can't it? Probably not to you. But yeah, in some way you always explain everything in a really great way that we can understand, make it easy.
I certainly try to. I try to make the illustrations relevant to the audience that I've got. But one of the best things that I like about data protection training is not doing the slides and whatever, it's the questions. It's those probing questions that people have that are relative to their area, to their department or whatever. They keep you on your toes as a presenter. Really quite challenging, but that's the most rewarding bit, to actually focus the answers to the people and the audience that I've got with me.
Yeah. Brilliant, thank you.
That's all right.
I'm going to hand over to co-chair Pauline now.
Thank you. Hello, Ben.
Oh yeah?
Just a quick question, actually, because we've heard about your day-to-day kind of paid role. So now I just want to talk a little bit, women to women. As in, could you tell me a little bit about your journey towards living as your best authentic self?
Okay.
And it sounds loaded, but I guess you can pick what you want from that.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, it's obviously been something that I've been considering most of my life. And broke up with my wife of 27 years back in 2013, and started to explore and meet a number of other people that consider themselves transgender. And I met several local girls. One of them in particular, we got up to some quite mad things, to be perfectly honest. I was lucky enough to win VIP tickets to Celebrity Big Brother final back in 2014, so I went and saw Jude Davison win that with her. And then she was also a successful candidate on, there was a UK version back in the day of RuPaul's Drag Race. It was called Tranny Academy. And it was hosted by a lady called Dusty. And the auditions and the show was recorded at Madame Jojo's in London, Soho. So I took her down for the auditions, and she got through that. Unfortunately, she was knocked out first night, but and then we went down to the finals and whatever. And then I met my new partner and just drifted away from this scene completely. And then we split up. I started to get back into the scene and tried to locate all of my old friends. that I'd known from sort of 4 or 5 years earlier. And it was early December, I think. One of my friends, who I won't mention, but you'll know anyway, emailed me and said, unfortunately, the girl's name was Candy, and unfortunately Candy had taken her own life the October before. And it was a turning point in my life. I felt quite guilty at the time that I hadn't been around, been there for her. We'd been really, really close. So I then took stock and approached the LGBT forum here in the Borough Council at the time about coming in and just doing one day as transgender, and just to see what the reception would be here in the council. And all the plans were running really quite well, and of course COVID struck. So I was coming in for Trans Day of Visibility, which is the 31st of March each year. And lockdown came in 21st, 22nd of March.
That's right.
So that put paid to it all. So I had to sit down and re-evaluated where I was and what I was going to do. And I'd already spoken with the Chief Exec and HR and my manager, etc. So they knew. So I just decided on the spur of the moment on Monday morning that I was going to come to the weekly team meeting as well. And got a really, really good reception. Some lovely, lovely emails afterwards. And manager turned around and said, we'll do it again next week and just come in and explain kind of the story and whatever. So I did. And then sort of continued to work as Belle, and then the opportunity came up to do the manager's session. Data protection. We'd had a number of data breaches, so George's Chief Exec asked me to come to that. So and again, I didn't tell anybody, I just turned up to the meeting with Belle, did my presentation, and that was that. And then I was flooded, absolutely flooded with emails of support, how brave I was, etc., etc. Afterwards. And we then were able to start coming into work and started to meet a few people, got my name badge done, so that I could come in. And it just sort of, there's a lot of girls that do this, that one day they're not, one day they are. But I was lucky, I had this sort of soft landing into it and slowly broached the subject, and that was strangely because of COVID and the way that the organisation was working at the time. And then I had some deep conversations with HR, and they said, look, we're going up to West Northampton, now is the time to make a decision about what you want to do and how you want to go forward, etc. And the data protection officer role came up, and I just thought, now's the time. I applied for it as well, and if I get it, I get it. And luckily I did, and from that day forward, that's been me and my life.
Excellent. Do you know, it's quite inspiring to hear such a story, because your work environment has obviously made a huge difference in terms of supporting you moving forward with your life on a positive, more positive level, if that makes sense.
Yes.
And it's really encouraging to hear that, and for me it just sounds like, yeah, people might say you're brave, but that's you, isn't it, to be honest. And I guess to others looking in, because you wouldn't have the courage, sometimes it's difficult, isn't it, to kind of have that conversation, or you're not quite sure how people are going to kind of receive whatever it is that's coming. So yeah, well done you. And,
brave, I think, is the wrong word. It does take a lot of courage. It does take an awful lot of self-conviction and self-determination. But if you truly know and you truly believe that's the right thing to do, that will take you forward and through.
Excellent. Sounds like a really good, interesting life journey. Have you experienced any kind of barriers?
Barriers, no. I've been quite fortunate a number of girls that do this that have great difficulty because they're still a male, etc. I suppose I'm quite fortunate. I've got some feminine features,
Yeah.
etc. So it's called passing really quite easily. So I've sort of blended in. Nobody's questioned. Everybody within Northampton Borough Council, as it was in West Northampton, has been absolutely amazing. I've built up a huge network of friends outside of work as well. So I attend a regular event here in Birmingham called Birmingham Bells. I go to Blackpool a lot. I've got a lot of friends. I've got a birthday, a friend of Blackpool's birthday to go to next weekend. And a lot of local events. Also great friends with a group down in Cornwall called Safe Haven.
Yeah.
Going out to them much to see them. So my friends network is strangely probably bigger now
Yes.
than it was previously. But I've kept all of my friends.
Yeah.
The scariest thing of doing anything like this is telling family.
Yeah.
Mother and father in their 80s, children in their early 20s. And you hear some horror stories about families not accepting new identity, etc. I've been incredibly fortunate. I've not lost any of my older friends. In fact, I'm going to Wales on a walking holiday with a group of them.
Excellent.
In March. Both of my children, my son still lives at home. They're both quite happy. So I consider myself really quite fortunate compared to other girls.
Excellent, excellent. And with your children, and I'm just interested in this anyway, so I'm just going to ask it. Right, with your children, have they had any any impact in terms of outside issues kind of coming into your family environment?
No, not that I'm aware of. I mean, it was my son's birthday this weekend, and we had a pile of friends around, and we were dancing and partying till silly o'clock, far too much alcohol.
Excellent.
But yeah, they've all been fine as well.
Yeah.
I think that the worry that they won't be is one of the barriers to other people doing what I've done, taking that brave, bold step.
Excellent. Perfect. Thank you very much. You dropped your paper.
That's okay. I didn't.
Okay.
I just think I can't believe now you've just gone through all of that journey. Mentioning Candy as well. I did cry on camera. That was so sad.
I've got a tissue.
I met Candy at the Umbrella Fair.
Okay.
Yeah. We've been out.
Just amazing.
Yeah,
amazing.
terrible.
Yeah.
But then I was thinking as well, I've actually known you for such a long time through a lot of this journey, and especially around talking when you were thinking about training with the council and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it seems like it's only a year or so, but it's not, it's such a long time ago.
Yeah.
And also, you're so much happier now.
Thank you.
You have such a big smile, and yeah, I've suddenly just dawned on me.
You're not the first
how
person.
much happier you are.
You're not the first person
Brilliant.
to say that to me. It is like a huge weight.
Have you got any kind of additional advice or guidance that you would give to others who may be looking to make a major change to their life, such as?
Talk to others that have done it.
Yeah.
There's a huge number of support groups out there. If anyone's got any questions, obviously they can come talk to me in complete confidence and private. I've got a number of friends and colleagues that are already, whether they're brave enough in the end to do what I've done in their life circumstances. The condition is known as gender dysphoria, and it eats you from inside.
Sure.
And unless you can find a release for that, it will get the better of you in the end. So it's always better to go talk to somebody, seek help and advice, and if I'm not the right person, I can help you find the organisation that is male or female.
Sure.
Of course. Those of us that are male to female are much more in the public eye, but we're only 50%.
Yeah.
There are just as many female to male transgender people out there who blend in really quite well as well. So whichever sex you're coming from or to, it doesn't matter. We can support, find the right help for you. And who knows, one day I won't be the only one.
Yeah, excellent. Good stuff. Well, Belle or Bella or Belinda, thank you so much for coming in and speaking to us for International Women's Day 2022. And each year we always see something new, something different. We have a new member of team and new people talking about new experiences in life and things like this. And for the first time this forum, we've been able to, I'm quite fortunate actually to have this open and honest conversation with you. So thank you so much, and hopefully when others see it, they can take the positives from it as well.
I hope so too.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you,
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you.
We'll give you a careful nod now.
Yeah.
So.
Break the bias.